Now, when I saw that Demon Lord Retry R was getting a second season, or it was originally Demon Lord Retry, I was super excited. Then I saw that the animation studio was changing, and sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think Attack on Titan on its final season didn't look bad at all, to me at least. I know some people might have complaints, but for me, it wasn't a make or break for the anime for me. Demon Lord Retry was a series that, even though it had its moments of seriousness, just like any other fantasy isekai anime, it also doesn't take itself too seriously. Since we're on season 2, the quick summary of Demon Lord Retry is about a game developer that gets isekai'd as the demon lord of the character he made in his previous video game that was going to get shut down. He gets brought into this new world of magic and monsters and decides to live in it by leveling up just to get his admin privs and summon his aides. Now, the second season starts off pretty standard with a recap, but the recap felt different. Was it because of the different animation studio? It could be a few things, but from my eyes, they changed the statue that brought the Demon Lord in, and it felt like they were adding in pieces that was probably in the written material to the anime and adding it in quickly so it can continue on with the story. Now, to be fair, one of my favorite isekai anime, Tsukimichi, was kind of doing the same thing, but not really. Rather than changing up the story and adding things here and there, I felt like Tsukimichi was, in the second season, was filling in the blanks of the things that we didn't see in the previous season and trying to make the story make sense, to make it, more fluid as the season progresses. Versus in Demon Lord Retry R, the second season, I felt like they not only did they change the animation studio, but they also changed some of the story, them adding a few more things from the previous, that should have been in the previous season, I feel, made this second season feel like it was a lot to take in, almost to the point where it almost changes the whole purpose of the anime and what we're watching. The parts of them adding Hakuto, aka the Demon Lord, his life before he was isekai'd with him, making the game was an interesting add-on, but still a few holes within that addition. It made it more confusing to me than it felt like it was adding to the story, but maybe it'll make sense later. I did like the serious moments of Luna saving Eagle and the situations of how corrupt powers can be, but that's your usual medieval fantasy anime. Nobles being shitty, the split of religion, powers, and segregation of different races. There's really nothing new here. Even if you watched the first season, you kind of get the sense of what you're going to watch. It's no surprise, but nonetheless, it's still enjoyable. Now, I understand that this is going to be a running thing when it comes to fantasy and isekai anime. It's usually the same groundwork, the same story, and a lot of people say that. But honestly, I kind of like it a lot. I watch it countless times, and even though I know what's going to happen and I can predict everything, I still watch it a lot. Though I completely understand why people say it's like too much, it's the same thing over and over, it's redundant. I understand why people don't want to watch it and why it's the same thing to them. But that's for another video. Let's get back into Demon Lord Retry. This one thing this anime confuses me about is whether if it takes itself seriously or not. I kind of get the middle ground of both. There are some serious situations that happen, but it's neither anticlimactic or crazy. It also purposely adds cliche RPG and fantasy anime moments. Even Hakuto himself calls it out as he explores around and calls out certain things how they function, and a lot of the time is just that it just does. The second season of Demon Lord Retry was still pretty fun to watch, but I will say the animation did feel like it got worse. Like when Akane came in to fight the demons in her first fight, it looked horrible to me, but the character designs, some look kind of nicer. Also, when there's moments where it seems like the peak of the arc is about to happen, I can't help but be excited. But all in all, I think it was an okay season 2. Now, before I end this video, I want to make it completely clear that I do not hate fantasy isekai anime. In fact, it's like my favorite thing to watch, like I said previously. I understand the unoriginalness that it may come from it, but I continuously watch it for some strange reason. I like it a lot. I'm what they call isekai trash. Nonetheless, guys, I know like the past 2 videos, including this one, was pretty like a negative review when it comes to like what I've watched recently. But it's something that I've watched and I just really needed to talk about. There's a lot of great original anime. For example, Frieren is one of them. And there's some great isekai anime. For example, this season, the bureaucrat isekai'd into a villainess, where the 55-year-old dad or whatever gets isekai'd as the villainess of his daughter's favorite Otome game. Freaking phenomenal, which I'm going to talk about fairly soon. Nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't yet, don't be afraid to subscribe. Alright, guys, I'm out.